Welcome back to another episode of the Emotional Mastery Podcast. You may hear my kids in the background because I'm trying to record this before bedtime. But this week, the transits are there's just a few big transits that are happening this week. We have Mercury, which is moving into Virgo. Yes, no, Libra. Mercury is moving into Libra on Wednesday, October 4th. And with Mercury and Libra, Mercury is all about communication. It's our intellect, it's our mind, it's how our mind works. And so Libra is all about codependence. It could be people pleasing, but it's really more so about harmony, balance, and justice. So Mercury being urged to communicate on these things, possibly even really looking at where we need to communicate our boundaries, because Libra will sometimes agree to things, even if it knows it's not right or how it truly feels, just to be the people pleaser, to keep the balance, to keep the peace, all the things. So really looking at where you're setting boundaries this month, and what Mercury is really here to communicate. Now, October 7th, Venus is officially out of its shadow phase. So it went retrograde July 22nd in Leo. It went direct September 3rd, but is still in this shadow phase where it is moving back through to where it was when it first began retrograding. So all these themes that have been coming up, relationships, money, art, creativity, values, beauty, groundedness, sensuality, all of these Venus traits are now, if you started a new relationship, if you ended a relationship, if you, depending on where Venus was in Leo was in your chart, whatever area, whatever theme of life you are noticing these Venus in retrograde themes coming up, you may be able to have more clarity on, especially, let's say, if you started a new relationship, maybe you ended a new relationship, you might be, or not ended a new relationship, if you ended a relationship period, Venus going out of its shadow phase will give you more clarity on those situations. So you may feel more ease. You may feel more peace around that. You just may have more clarity around how you actually feel when it relates to that situation. And then on Saturday, the 7th, Sunday, the 8th, we have Venus moving into Virgo. Again, we just went over all the themes of Venus. Virgo is organized, it is grounded, it is all about health, the body, daily routines. And so, Venus here, the shadows of Virgo can be critical, can be analytical, can be judgmental. And so when we think about the themes of Venus, relationships, values, beauty, love, money, all of these things in analytical, critical, judgmental, sometimes Virgo, but Virgo is also very in service to others. Virgo is all about, again, health. So having these themes collide and combined, really these areas of life. And Venus is a huge player in this. Since the summer, we have it now moving into Virgo, but then we have Libra, which Venus rules Libra, right? So we have Libra season right now. We have our eclipses that are happening. And then we have the Taurus eclipse that's happening, the full moon in Taurus, which Venus also rules Taurus. And then we even have Scorpio season, where is ruled by Mars and Pluto, but Venus rules Taurus, which is his opposite. And all the oppositions always hold a lot of lessons for the theme of the opposite. And so we're moving through a lot of this Venusian energy. And so it's really coming up a lot. So of course, like checking all these areas in your chart, where do you natally have Venus? Because that's really will show you in what aspects does it have. Of course, you can always get a session and dive really, really deep into these themes. But something I also want to talk about real quick, that I was reading a book, a human design book, and they're talking about the centers. And something that really, really resonated with me specifically was this conversation around the G center. And the G center is love, right? The G center is our direction, our purpose. It's sort of like that knowing deeply who you are. And when people who have an undefined or open G center are told to find themselves, right? And I think probably a lot of us are attracted to human design and astrology because it helps us, sort of gives us a permission of this. But when you have an undefined or open G center, you are never going to be set in who you are. And that is the gift and beauty of who you are, right? You can go into any situation and mirror back the energy to those people. So of course, with an undefined or open G center, if you're in the wrong place, you are with the wrong people. So your environment is so important for you. So really noticing where you're at and how it feels. But this idea of finding yourself, of finding a fixed version of who you are, is really unlikely for the undefined G center. And I think once you have the acceptance of that, and it's not to say that you're a follower or you're fake or you can never like be who you are, but the fact is you're a chameleon, you're adaptable, you're going to take on the energy of others, right? Your environment, again, is so, so important to know when you're in the right place and the right people that come into your life. And so I think discerning who you're with. And I think it's this idea, right? Where, when we're growing up as kids, it's like, well, I trust you, but I don't trust your friends, or you're running with the wrong crowd. And that's always mirrored back to the individual because you are literally a mirror for the defined G centers around you, right? And as an undefined G center, you're here to receive love, and the defined G centers are here to give love. And so I think it's really a beautiful energy because you're sort of constantly shifting and changing throughout your life, right? You're going to be going new places, meeting new people, and your identity, your sense of self can adapt throughout your entire life. And it doesn't mean you're inauthentic. Actually, the opposite. When you can really lean into that energy, you are your most authentic self. You are your most magnetic self, right? So to try and be this fixed version of you of like, I like this and I'm here, if you have an undefined and open G center, know that that's going to shift and that's going to change. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So that is the major transits of this week. There's nothing like massive going on. I think the moon is going from Pisces to Leo. No, I'm sorry. The moon is going from Taurus to Leo during this week. And so navigating through, that Taurus is going to be that grounded, sensual, maybe you want to like spoil yourself, eat, have a glass of wine, whatever it is. Gemini, very inquisitive, very curious, like playful, social, all the things. Cancer, of course, super emotional. So there will be a period during this week where you may feel a little bit more emotional than usual. Leo, super dramatic. I have a Leo moon. So I'm very familiar with that energy. But I really, really love tracking the moon cycles. And I have a journal, actually, the emotional, oh my gosh, I totally forgot what it's called. It's the emotional journal where you can track your wave, basically. So it's got a spot to track where you are at your wave. And I think I'm going to do another version very soon. I'm working on it where I have a place where you can track the moon, because I find the moon cycles to be really helpful in tracking. So if you track nothing else, like really just understanding the moon cycles and when you're at and where that is for you, right? I know for me personally, Cancer is in my 12th house. So Cancer is all the things unseen. So not only am I crazy emotional about it, but I also like don't understand it because I literally can't see it inside of me. Pisces is always like super emotional for me. Pisces brings up the depths, right? For me, it's in the 8th house. So it brings up that darkness, it brings up the occult, it brings up drug, sex, rock and roll, all those sort of themes, which can be really intense. So I think tracking the moon can be really helpful in just also in addition to tracking your wave. But I'll have the link for that journal in the show notes. So if you're interested in grabbing a copy of that, it's on Amazon, so you can grab it. And I just love it for reflection at night. I track where where I was in my wave, so it's going up and down, and just a little reflection. But that is my little short recap of the transits for this week. The Holistic Human Design Academy, if you're listening to this on the 2nd or the 3rd, I'm doing a 72-hour flash sale for the Holistic Human Design Academy. I've got 5 incredible guest speakers coming up. Within that container, I have a shaman, I have a hypnosis combined with human design, meditation, astrology, and intuition, and someone who's going to come talk about intuition. And I'm so excited. It is a 3-month 8-module program. We go through human design, we go through astrology, we go through the body, we go through shadow work, we go through energetics, attachment theory, and then we go through all 3 gene keys. And so it's really potent. It is really powerful. So if you want to grab it while it's on this flash sale, click the link in the bio. It's still going to be open until the 22nd. Again, we start on the 22nd. So all the information you need is down in the show notes.